Hello, everyone. This is the When Life Gives You Lemons podcast, brought to you by Dayspring Bank. I'm here, Stephen Ashworth, with our co-host,
Morgan Maly,
and
Derek Randecker.
This is our first episode of the podcast. We're looking forward to opportunities to really highlight entrepreneurship and opportunities throughout everybody's life of when they may have had a moment where they thought that life gave them lemons and they've turned it into lemonade. This is part one of our partnership with Dayspring Bank, and we're super grateful to be here with Derek today. And Derek, would you like to introduce yourself to everybody listening out there today?
Yeah. So Derek, with First, I just screwed that up. I was gonna say First State Bank, Dayspring Bank. So I've been with Dayspring Bank now for 20 years. We're a community bank that came into the Omaha community about 25 years ago. And now we have found our niche is entrepreneurs and people wanting to think outside the box. And that's kind of what led us to wanting to work with you guys and see what else we could do, you know.
Mm-hmm. How were you first approached about this partnership, and when did you really start to see the needle moving towards getting this partnership off the ground and running?
Yeah, the NIL thing has been interesting because that's been on my mind for probably when it kicked off. Like, hey, could a bank do something here? Because we always try to do something other banks don't. But over time, we kind of backburnered it, waited, and then we saw there's some other opportunities to work with, like NIU on campus. Mm-hmm. And so when we chatted with them and started talking to a couple other people, we felt this would be a great opportunity after talking with NIU who are a couple athletes that, you know, had similar vision, maybe similar values, would be a good partner to kind of take next steps and do something like this podcast and be able to talk to entrepreneurs and, like I said, think outside the box.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll speak from my end, and then I'll let Morgan share her experience. I think that this has been one of the NIL partnerships that I've looked forward to the most, I feel like, when it comes to just the different events or opportunities that we're doing. Even things like this, thinking outside the box, starting a little podcast, and honestly getting to build our network as athletes, because I think that it's been super cool the way that NIL has changed just the athlete interaction with the community, whether it's donors, boosters, or even just community members alike, to where we can actually provide somewhat of a service and and a name, and then also partnerships like this. And so I've thought it's been really cool just the way that you guys have all approached this from Dayspring, and looking forward to the rest of this podcast and the series we go from here.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's very an interactive relationship here, that we get to partner as athletes to local communities and stuff. What do you see coming about with your engagement with athletes?
Yeah, we want to, there's such a unique thing going on with athletes and our college athletes, that you guys have more opportunities to engage with businesses and make money in ways you never had before. So it's like, how can we partner not only to do this type of stuff, but how can we partner to help you guys, bank athletes, and make sure there's services and experiences that are good for you guys? Because there's going to be, banks out there or other companies that just hire you to show up for an autograph or something. But it's like, hey, how can you truly have a relationship and somebody that you guys could call on, have a cell phone number and be like, hey, I have a true financial question and what do I do, and be able to build off that. And, that's where we really is our sweet spot, is being able to have that relationship and take things a little deeper, I guess, than some people might ever.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you mentioned that with the relationship that you have with us as athletes. How does that tie into kind of you as, CEO of Dayspring Bank, and just the day-to-day of you take that same approach into the bank, what things are different, and how does that kind of separate you in the banking world? Because obviously I'm not in the banking world every day, so tell us a little about that.
Yeah, I would say it relates completely. We have customers not only in Omaha, but out of state. We have quite a few. And it usually all turns down around to, hey, I've never been able to have a market president's cell phone number. They'd be able to call somebody, or another example is like we've never had limits on something as simple as mobile deposit. So I had a customer out in California call me one time. He's like, "Is this $400,000 check gonna clear?" Yeah. And I told him, I was like, "Yeah, it will, no problem." And he even called me 3 more times to confirm it, like the next day and everything else, because his previous bank only allowed $10,000.
Yeah.
So it's just doing little things like that and thinking outside the box of the experience, because that's a small hindrance to that customer. Being able to do that. So day to day, we want to build the relationship. And one thing we do too, I joke a lot that we're not a cookie cutter bank, because a cookie cutter bank I kind of call it, or a flow chart bank, where it's like, hey, you're a restaurant, this is how we bank you. And it has to be where we want to sit down just like this, figure out what you're looking to do, and then help you. And it's like a custom package every time.
Yeah.
It's not a flow chart. It's not cookie cutter. It's not, we want to think outside the box with everybody. One thing we try really hard to do is let the customer say no. We never want to say no. We try to at least come back with a solution, every time.
Did you, when you got into banking and into your professional career, did you have that philosophy, or is that something that you built with the bank, grew into, or how did that come about?
Yeah, so I'm actually a 3rd generation banker.
Okay.
So going all the way to my grandpa, he would share stories how he had a farmer that could buy a truck on Saturday and come in on Monday and get a loan for it, but that was also a long time ago.
Yeah.
Now today with regulatory, you couldn't come close to that.
Yeah.
But he was that community anchor doing things like that. And so then my dad was similar, and then I had no plans to be in banking, but here I am. I just kind of fell into it and enjoyed this stuff, the customer interaction, a lot more. It's been the last 10 years for me has been built the most, being able to meet more people, interact, figure out how to do this, kind of change the philosophy. Here in Omaha, I've been running our Omaha market for the last 10 years. And we did great and helped a lot of people before, but we kind of had to shift our philosophy a little bit too the last 10 of, hey, let's take this another notch to really work with people and understand them.
Yeah.
And we have some customers that have been turned down by 3-4 other banks that then when they came to us, we helped them out. And then now looking at them, they've exploded. They've done so many different things, and those are the best ones because now they're the biggest cheerleader. They love us because of it. So it'd be similar to like any deal we do with like you guys. We want to work with you guys where you can sit here and be like, hey, if you have a teammate that doesn't know what to do, and you could be like, hey, they're trustworthy. There's somebody you want to talk to. So
no, I think that's super cool, and I also feel like just having this conversation and learning more about Dayspring, it makes sense why entrepreneurship would be a niche that if I'm an entrepreneur wanting to start a business, you guys are people that I could come to and not only trust but also know that you guys are cheering me on. You want to be a part of my success story, and I think that as an athlete that definitely resonates with me, just because I think that there's something to it to where you said that there's customers that have come to you guys that have been turned down 3 or 4 times, and after we found a solution with them, we didn't want to tell them no. We found a solution. It might have been different than other banks may have done it, but then you saw them really blow up and succeed. And I think that's true in everybody's life and athletes' lives specifically, to where I've seen it in teammates throughout my career, whether it's high school or here at Creighton. It's amazing what just somebody else believing in you can do. And so I think that's super cool that at Dayspring, that's kind of one of the core philosophies you guys have and exemplify. Pivoting a little bit of the conversation, where do you think that the goal of this partnership and evolution really comes to for not only us as athletes, but also the community of Omaha?
I think the goal of how we can, like this podcast, or I guess, we can even go back to, what was it, a month ago where we had the lemonade stand.
Yeah.
So, you know, a month ago we had a lemonade stand on Creighton's campus and handed out lemonade. So in situations like that, now the podcast, and then our next steps of, you know, 6 months down the road, what could else opportunities could there be is, hey, are we getting our name out there in another way? So could we, our end goal is, you know, getting our name out, finding other opportunities with the Omaha community, maybe beyond, and like I shared, to work with athletes.
Yeah.
So if there's other athletes that see what we're doing and they're interested in working, we'd be open to. But you know, like I'm also somebody that's like, hey, we started with you guys, you know, so it's like, hey, this is a good deal, we're going to keep rolling type of thing. But it's, I think it's going to be a unique, I'm a big one on trying things, pivoting, learn what you can, it's never a failure. It's just constant pivoting, you know, it's just constant changing what you might do, and a different way to do it. Cause a lot of people don't realize it, like in the Omaha market, we're never going to be a bank that has 10 branches all over town. Now where we have a handful maybe, but we view our time and effort is better not branching out all over. We can be just as good of a bank as the guys have that many branches. Yeah. And we're the same size, you know, so we can still do a lot. We can still lend, have high lending limits and things like that. But yeah, with this partnership, it's, excuse me, how we, you know, as you mentioned, help us seeing others succeed. You know, that's what I hope out of this too, is that we see you guys see benefit out of it. That you could be like, hey, I was shined in the light different. Yeah. Now, heck, I got another NIL deal because they saw we did a lemonade stand, and that was really cool. So we did another one. Yeah. And then it even falls down to like NIU, like the partnership with them. You know, we've had that conversation many times, saying, hey, we love this partnership because we hope we both win. It's a win-win, you know, just like our customers. So if we do this with NIU and you guys and everybody sees fruit from it, you know, that's the end goal. I'm a really, you know, faith is such a big piece of my life. And it's just, I'm so big on like, life's too quick. It's too short. Make good relationships. You know, if you don't enjoy what you're doing, you move on. And, you know, where can we make our impacts? You know, and if we're making impacts, that's what we need to do. You know?
With this being a podcast focused on not only our relationship, but also entrepreneurship, business, different things like that, would you have anything to share with kind of that next generation from just maybe an experience or life experience that you've had working at, you know, Dayspring, or being a third generation, you know, banker, and what it meant to maybe have the banking start within your family, or just something like that you could share with kind of the next generation?
Yeah, it's always hard, you know, to find your niche, where you want to be. I'm really big on find your passion spot. You know, like I just mentioned, life's too short. So find what you want to do. Find where it doesn't feel like work every day. You know, and if you can find those spots, and then find your partners, like a good bank or a good partner of any sorts, that's what you need. You need that outside pieces. But, you know, for what we've seen people grow the last few years, it's really maybe somebody taking a chance on you. You know, so like that's, if you're willing to find those people, maybe think outside the box with that. And, you know, and with our goal of us talking to entrepreneurs and bringing others in this room, you know, that's hopefully the goal, is they can sit here and share with each of you, excuse me, of, hey, this is how I succeeded, and the partners that came in my life, or the mentors that came in my life along the way, because like you said, you guys might be starting your own business down the road, or somebody that's watching that's looking to start a business. So I don't know if I answered your question very good there or not.
Hey, I think it's good. You know, I what I took from it really was, you know, the key aspects of partnerships, and in a way, right, the name of the podcast, When Life Gives You Lemons, right, taking what life gives you and making the most of it, whether it's an opportunity, whether it's a connection, whether it's a relationship. And I think Morgan and I can both attest that, we're only as good as our team around us. And like you said, the partnerships that come into your life are essential.
Yeah. As you guys are talking, I'm hearing a lot of parallels between being a successful athlete and being an entrepreneur, having that support system, and just getting one person to say yes, and for that to be the right situation for something to blossom. I'm curious, were you an athlete back in the day?
Oh, just high school.
High
that was the
school.
only thing. It was basketball and golf. Those were my things. Grew up playing soccer, but then I moved, and where I moved mid through high school, they didn't have soccer. So if I was smart, I should have just took my kicking ability and tried being a football player or something, but didn't even cross my mind. But now I still play basketball here and there and golf, but nothing.
Yeah. Do you have any, would you say, transferable skills that you learned as an athlete that made you a successful entrepreneur?
Oh, well, kind of joking aside of it, like deals are done on the golf course, they joke or whatever, be able to, but like I do use golf a lot still today for work and things, but have, like you mentioned, having the team or learning to get through something, learning they can have a loss and it's okay, you can move on. Having those things happen just helps round you out. Or maybe if you just thinking back through it, having a spot where maybe you're not playing your best and you get benched, and having that ability to be like, okay, that wasn't my game. The next one will be better, and stepping off that. But you're also talking 20 years ago, so I might not remember everything.
Yeah,
so
it's always 2020 when we can look back at times. Did you have something for us, Val?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, kind of like talk about what it means for you guys specifically, like building your brands and what that process has kind of been like. I remember our conversation about BBLA in the summer.
Yeah.
Like talking about like that evolution, how that kind of came about, and just kind of like some of the parallels between like sport, business, stuff like that.
Okay. Gotcha. How are we gonna cut this in? Should I just try to cut this in after that, or?
Just
do you want me to like question them?
No, I
that
think
way?
just flow it in. This is like the producer note. This is just like the
Okay.
producer's spot. Put it.
I'll speak real quick on just the note of what you mentioned, of what you've learned from sport, and whether it's the adversity overcoming or just the passion. I feel like, in my life, with NIL, it's changed the way that I view, sports in general, and it's kind of changed the way I view business. And personally, I tried to start, I guess I wouldn't say try, I started a little business called Boosted by Local Athletes while I was at Utah State, actually. Because while here at Creighton, there's a lot of community support when it comes to the collectives or donations, things like that. But Utah State, it was a little bit different. And it was also the first year that NIL started. And so I went to a local pizza shop and I said, hey, there's this new rule that athletes can make money. We come eat pizza here like every week. Could we do something where I post on Instagram for you in exchange for either monetary compensation or free pizzas, whatever. And yeah, they're excited about it. They're supportive. And so we kind of brokered this deal together, kind of on like a back of a napkin, nothing like super official. And it was about 2 or 3 months that we did this. And I sat back down with the pizza shop owner. I was like, hey, how's it going for you? Like, have you noticed anything like when we post? Like, is it, positive? Is there any impact? And he told me, he's like, I'm just not really seeing quite the impact I thought that it would have. And that's when I realized I was studying marketing at Utah State at the time, to where basically everybody I was posting to lived outside of the area they were trying to have them go eat pizza. And so what I realized was that if I could set up a Facebook ads account, I could then target the ads so that anytime I posted, it was only being seen by people in his area. And so it was cool because the next 3 months, he saw a huge increase of college students going to his pizza place, because I was making sure that when I posted about it, the impressions, whether it was 10,000 people or whatever, weren't from Highland, Utah, which was an hour and a half away. They were right there in Logan, Utah, and there could actually be action on it. And so it was just cool because I feel like, that was one of the moments where I was able to apply some of the things that I'd learned on the court and apply it into business and become somewhat of an entrepreneur.
Oh yeah.
So.
No, that's being able to, I don't know, see an opportunity and jump on it. That's I feel like that's so key. In today's world and in media, and then be able to, like I shared earlier, pivoting. You took that and it wasn't going, so you, instead of just ending it, you pivoted. You made the change and saw the success. And it might have took, you're lucky one pivot, but if it took 2 or 3 or anything else, so
no doubt, never ending change. And I'm sure you see that day to day, with the businesses that you work with as well, that bank with you, all the changes that they've made. Maybe they thought they were going to do one thing from the beginning, and then it's turned into something completely different.
Well, and we saw it big even during COVID. We saw a bunch of our businesses have to change the way they did stuff. It's like, hey, I'm a restaurant, you can't come in now. Oh, I'm going to do delivery. So all of a sudden they were delivering food. So it's the guys that did some of that really got a shot in the arm and made the next steps. But how about you, Morgan? You have something similar?
Not quite. Not really a business head. Entrepreneur, marketing, not really in that realm. I go to school, I study like science, pre-med stuff. So the whole NIL scene was a little bit just different and a little bit uncomfortable for me. Whereas my real goal with it was just to partner with people that I agreed with and had a similar passion to, and just building my brand as an athlete and as an individual, to try to just be seen more and get my name out there, hopefully to play in the WNBA next year or whatever that may be.
Yeah, I'll echo what Morgan was saying there too. Just like, I feel like it's been an opportunity that is, not granted to everyone to be able to partner with, organizations and companies like yours that's so well known and well respected and well recognized, because that only enhances what our brand as an athlete then becomes. And I also think, I was speaking with someone just the other day, with the Christmas season coming up, there's a lot of charitable opportunities. My teammate Ryan Kalkbrenner just did a toy drive, and it's super cool to see that. And then on the 21st through the 31st of December, I'm going to be involved in a charitable Christmas donation at Westroads Mall as well. And they asked, why do you think it's so important for athletes to be involved in these give back and charitable opportunities? And it took me a minute to think about it, but I really realized, like, us being college athletes, Morgan and I, it could potentially be the last time we're anything recognizable or really, something in the community, to whether it's the little kids or, sports just is a super unique way to where I feel like people, of all different backgrounds come together for one common goal, and that's to, cheer on their favorite team or their favorite players. And so it's been, an opportunity as an athlete to kind of build that brand. I think only elevates those next opportunities as well. Once the basketball, stops bouncing for us, to where we can recognize, hey, I can still have a positive impact. I still can use this platform and those things like that. And that's why I'm excited about this podcast and being on this, because I think the future of this is going to be cool to kind of, expand, and we'll probably pivot a little bit and we'll find new things and new ways to do it. But I'm looking forward to where When Life Gives You Lemons can go.
Yeah, and I know it's going to be, we're going to have a couple of our customers come on, chat with you guys, some other entrepreneurs from the community come on and talk to you guys, and hopefully it gives anybody that's listening, an idea or something else to think about in a different way. But yeah, we're, it's so interesting. I've thought so many times, somebody like both of you with social media, now whatever you guys build today, 20 years ago, you couldn't, you've graduated college, is your brand over? unless you went pro or something like that. And then, but in today's world, it's like, hey, if you can build it solid enough during your college career, it can just continue to grow and grow and grow. So that's why I love these opportunities, because it's like, if you go to the WNBA, you play a few years, then you're done and you start a business, and you're like, I need somebody to partner with on it. We just hope we're a call, or an opportunity. That's what we ask a lot of times. It's just like, give us a chance.
Yeah.
It might not work, but give us a chance to have the conversation. So, I think this podcast will be a lot of fun to see what you guys feel like you learn out of it. Because I sure hope you guys pick things up out of conversations every time you guys have one that helps you guys like, hey, I could use that next in another way, or in another business opportunity. So.
No doubt. With that in mind, if there is someone out there listening or watching to the podcast, what would be the best way for them to get in touch with you or learn more about Dayspring? Would it be best to come in? Is there a website they can go to?
Yeah, you can always come in, but unfortunately we don't have branches, all over.
Yep.
But if you're in Omaha, you could always come in. We have our website, dayspring.bank. That's gets confusing sometimes to some people because it's not a .com type of thing. But if you go to dayspring.bank, go there. You can we have our lemon stories on our website, so we can see some of the stories from the lemonade stand there. But somebody could reach out even via social media platforms, because it could all end up getting back to me. Like if they wanted to talk to me specifically, or connected with one of our teammates or lenders at the bank. I get looped in usually when it's anything unique. When it's time to think outside the box, that's where I get looped in. We have one of our sweet spots is a lot of banks kind of become niched, but our lenders are the ones that usually kind of become more niche. So like we have one lender that works with a lot of builders in town, or another one that works with a lot of restaurants. We will look at kind of anything. If anybody ever wants to reach out, we're there to always talk. So
awesome.
Even to bounce ideas, I'm always down just
an opportunity,
just to chat. Yep.
Dayspring.bank.
Yeah, because you don't know what's could come. We have relationships that I've talked to people for 10 years and they never gave us a chance to bank. And then when do people switch their banks? When they're ticked off. And then something happened. They were mad. They called us. Then they moved. We were there. Sometimes we just want to be the second best option. So that's what it kind of comes down to. It can be years of relationship building at times.
I mean, being the second best option to Walmart or Amazon, there's a lot of good second best options. And I also think I probably would say the next best time people switch banks is when they move. I moved from Utah. Needed more of a physical footprint for a bank, and I'm glad that I'm now at Dayspring and have that opportunity. And I know there's probably a lot of Creighton students that are moving from out of state that could utilize that as well, just an in-person bank. So, Morgan, you got anything else for us to close it off?
Thank you for sharing your story. A little bit of what makes Dayspring Bank special, and that's relationships. So just thank you for coming in.
Yeah, no, I appreciate working with both of you guys on all this. Appreciate NIU for the connections and getting it rolling. Like I said earlier, I'm excited to see what each episode comes from it, what nuggets could come out of it. See if somebody responds. That'd be really cool to see if somebody kicks back an idea off of one of those. It'd be a fun next piece to see what we can do and what you guys can do and find out. And like I said, we have some really cool stories, I think, that could come out of it. There's some individuals that have great backgrounds to hear what they went through, how they got where they got, how it took them many steps or many years to get where they are. So.
Yeah, I love it. Well, if you're looking for the intersection of business and sports, we're your podcast. Look forward to some more episodes coming here soon. Derek, we appreciate your time once again. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, guys.